All right. I got my big old glass of scotch right here. Probably more than I should.
That's 7-Up. That's what I got.
Tonight I went with the Johnny Black because I just didn't care. 7-Up actually sounds really good right now.
You know, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not even that big of a lemon lime soda kind of guy, but every now and then I get this crazy urge for 7-Up. Like, it's got to happen.
Yep.
Don't know why.
That's it.
But I do.
Yep.
And the legs of this table combined with this chair are driving me bananas.
But you look handsome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your hair looks nice.
Perfectly coiffed.
Grown-up Bieber.
Hey,
what are we smoking tonight?
Esteban Carrera, Mr. Brownstone Natural.
I went in and I went to find the most obscure smoke that I had, assuming it was something that someone gave me and I never bought. And
What's up, Sean?
I found like, what's up, Wagner? I found like 4 or 5, and I was like, I have no idea what this even is. I don't know where they came from. I don't know how old they are, but I was like, you know what? Roma. I got that whole box. I might as well smoke them.
That's right.
That's right. So what's up, Sean? How was your day?
I got Mr. Ashtrox here. Mr. A.
Mr. Ashtrox. All right. So, how's the magazine?
It's coming along, man. Like, me and Billy have been kind of slack the last week or two, and so like the last yesterday and today, I've been really hammering it, getting a lot done.
Right.
It's going to be another probably 50-page issue.
Okay.
So
I'll tell you, man, that article that Nipper wrote, the way you laid it out and the facts that he put on that page.
Dude, he covers like pretty much every species except Hispida, Hirsuta, Rungwaensis, and I think that's it. Like, he's got broadly eye, he's got Desai, he's got pretty much if it's being kept in the U.S. or Europe, he's got it on that list. So
interesting. Yeah, actually today, or maybe it was yesterday, my guy Carlos was asking me, he's like, how many species are there? And I was trying to think of it over my head, and I got, hear me out, without going to Google, I got Squam, Chlorecus, Nichii, Hispida, Desai, Rungwaensis, Ceratophora, Superciliaris, if you want to call that. And what am I missing?
broadly eye.
Broadly eye. That's it?
Matilde.
What's Matilde?
That's like the most recent species they discovered. It's basically like offshoot of Ceratophora, but they're bigger.
Oh, I saw that.
They're a lot bigger.
I saw.
Like, if you saw the difference, there's actually like there's more in collections than people think. They came in under the guise and misidentified as Ceratophora.
Okay.
But they're actually Matilde.
Okay.
You can talk to Nipper. Nipper has some, so he could tell you more about it than I could. But
excellent.
They're pretty badass looking. Like, you have some that are almost completely patternless, and then you have some that like are super high black. I'll find a picture.
I wonder if I had them back in the day. I wonder, because dude, all the stuff we got was always under a year old. Any of those oddball stuff, unless it was a full-grown, straggly-looking Hispida, Squams or Chlorecus, everything, even the Nichii we got in, they were always tiny, man. They were always like maybe like that.
Dude, I remember seeing baby Squams at the Columbia show and thinking just how freaking tiny those things are, man. I'm talking like, I mean, you've seen them, like Candoya, baby small, like tiny, actually, like pinky parts.
I just told oh my God, now I can't remember the guy's name.
Jesus.
Wow, it's been a long day.
Carlos?
Caleb. Jesus.
Oh.
So I was actually talking to Caleb last night, and we were talking about, arboreal vipers as I don't want to call them a beginner snake, but is it poor for a beginner to have an arboreal viper? I said that as getting into venomous, yeah. But if you are already into reptiles and you already keep arboreal stuff, then the husbandry is no different than the stuff that you're really already doing. The only difference is if you have baby Candoya and you're assist feeding, mouse tails, obviously you're not going to do that with, oh yeah, dude, I totally had that at Strictly. Not that one, but that first one most definitely.
That's like an extreme example because Alcords has some here, and they look kind of like your standard Ceratophora, but
yeah,
they get a lot bigger.
Yeah, that.
Like I said, this is like a patternless one.
Interesting.
They kind of look like a beef.
I lost you. Uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem. Dun, dun, dun. At least it's happening in the beginning of the feed. Only 6 minutes in. What a shame. Frozen, like the movie. And we're here. Here we are. That's it. So yes, in this upcoming Herpetoculture magazine, issue number 5 will be a lovely article on keeping. Thanks, Mike. Will be a lovely article on how to keep and some basic knowledge and some smart facts on the Atheris genus. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Atheris genus, they are a family of bush vipers or small arboreal tree vipers from the central and sub-Saharan African regions. A lot of people refer to them as squams. That is one type of Atheris species, but they are moderately toxic, moderately to severely toxic in terms of their venom. There is no antivenin. Some people actually use Echis or saw-scale viper antivenin to counteract some of the effects. But the reason why there's no antivenin is because Justin is restarting his router. The reason why is because the host animal that is used to make the antibodies for the antivenom, whether it be a horse or a sheep, typically in this case, in Africa, they use a lot of horses, the host rejects the venom, and it winds up just being an envenomation. So the horse does not produce the appropriate antibodies, and therefore the plasma cannot be extracted to produce said antivenin. Now, the real question is, aside from Atheris and Nipper Reed writing an amazing article in this up-and-coming Herpetoculture magazine, where's Justin and how do I get him back on here? He started the thing, so now I'm wondering if I have to send him the link. Do I have to send you the link now? Question mark. I'm Ron Burgundy. So, Herr Wagner, Monsieur Kopny, Giraffe Fruit. How goes it this evening, gentlemen? Look at the brain on Phil. You know how I get that knowledge? Scotch. Copious amounts of scotch. Uh-oh. Justin wants to know if I'm still in it. Boys, are we still in it? I'm glad to hear Wagner's having a wonderful night. By the way, Sean, from now on, because not only do I find myself enthused with German history, but I also love Richard Wagner. I'm going to call you Wagner from now on. Just embrace it. Let it happen. And if you don't listen to Richard Wagner, at least anything off of the Tristan and Isolde album, you need to. This is the Phil show now. You know what's horrible is I can't even show people. Like, I can't show people what you guys are writing because Justin was like the lead and in command of the situation. Normally, Justin likes to throw comments up. Oh, nice. That's good, Sean. That's good. How can I do this? I wonder if I can add Justin. Having issues? Click this link. So is anyone else smoking a cigar this evening and or drinking an adult beverage? Yes, Siegfried's Funeral March. Simply breathtaking. Obviously, Flight of the Valkyries would also be a good piece to listen to on occasion. Yeah, man, I forgot about Siegfried's Funeral. It's good shit. Herr Wagner does not partake of the fire water. Understandable. No one's even smoking anything? Nothing? Guys watching a podcast about cigars and snakes, and they're all snake. They're all snake. Nice. Mike got some teeth yoinked. Oh, horrible. Hate it. Had it happen once. I honestly felt like the guy put his foot on my chest to like get the leverage. I'll never do that ever again. Justin Smith. God, this is annoying. I'm sorry, man. I wish I could plug you back in. Smashing scotch and smoking is frowned upon in the office for some reason. Listen, man. If you're going to drink all day, you got to start in the morning. That's just what I'm saying. You know, that whole 5 o'clock somewhere, no. Fuck 5 o'clock. Start at like a good solid 7:30 a.m. You're good. You're good. I thought the guy was trying to get through my mouth. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like getting teeth pulled. Horrible. Congratulations on passing your background and getting a new job. Kudos to you. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We actually, Justin and I had some ideas for tonight. We were going to talk about some Facebook drama nonsense. We were going to talk about some setting up of some vivariums in terms of substrate and how I personally am not a bioactive guy, but I want the look. I want the feel. I want it to be a window into the world of where that particular species comes from. But I don't want to have to deal with bioballs and substrate layers and charcoal screening. And I just want to put dirt in there and leave it be. So I actually had a couple ideas that I was going to talk to Justin and you fine folks about in terms of getting a base layer substrate that is going to retain moisture and hold micro and macroscopic organisms appropriately without necessarily having to do the traditional layered method. Yeah. Justin Smith. God, this thing is annoying. Yeah. Sorry. So that was kind of what we had on the plate or on the agenda for this evening. Those of you who are still sitting here watching me ramble about nonsense, thank you for participating. If you're not following any of the Instagram pages, you need to be at Herpetoculture Podcast, at Herpetoculture Magazine. Obviously, you know Palmetto Coast Exotics because you're watching his YouTube feed. And at knobtails.ig, which is my knobtail gecko page. I try to strictly keep it geckos in terms of the actual pictures I post. I would say a good 60% of them are not mine, just because I don't have that many geckos. And let's face it, how many times do people want to see a little gecko on red sand in a tub? It's the same tub. But I do post a lot of venomous stuff and some exotic, funky stuff on the storyline. So if you guys want to watch that, feel free to do it. So Super Snake Man 101 wants to know what I'm smoking. I am smoking a Romacraft Intemperance. I do not believe I remember I don't remember the exact model number. Romacraft is cool because they give a name and a style, but they also put an actual model number on the box. So if they have, like, this is an Intemperance, for example, this is more of a Maduro. I didn't know that the box was going to be torpedoes. I'm not a torpedo guy. I'm more of a Toro guy or even a Corona guy. I bought the box. I wasn't paying attention, but you know what? It's the same exact smoke that I normally do. It's just different shape. So this particular one is whatever number they call it, but it is a Romacraft Intemperance Torpedo in a Maduro type wrapper. Yeah, great cigar. I didn't know Romacraft existed until our fearless leader, Justin Smith, who happens to be a tobaccoist in his hometown of Beaufort. He enlightened me to it, and they make a phenomenal product. His personal favorite is the Neanderthal. And that has a little bit more of a spice to it. It's not as oily as the Intemperance. They're still, I believe they're still considered a Maduro, even though they're a little bit lighter. I enjoy them a lot. They also make a very oily and a much darker one called a Cro-Magnon, which I thought was great. However, it's a bit too spicy for me, so I kind of keep those on rare occasions. But hey, he made it back.
I'm about to destroy CenturyLink, man. I'm so tired of this.
Well, you can ask the troops. I'm pretty sure I held the fort down for you.
I'll say it looks like it. Good God.
Do we have more people or less people?
It's the same amount. It looks more than when we started, but.
All right. I was just explaining Romacraft, and Super Snake Man 101, forgive me for not knowing your real name, was asking what I was smoking, and he's apparently a big fan.
Yeah, another Roma guy.
I asked them what they're drinking. They either don't drink or they're at work. Like, that's an excuse.
Well, I mean, if they're on the other coast, it is only 6:30, so.
And I explained to them that if you're going to drink all day, you got to start in the morning. They're herpers. That's what we do.
What is Jeff talking about with is the Facebook drama, all that Topher bullshit?
Oh, I didn't even see that. No, I basically was giving them a recap of what we were planning on talking about tonight. So we're going to talk about the Facebook bullshit. We're going to talk about some vivarium stuff. I got a book that I want to show off to you people. I didn't realize that the book is either in limited print or out of print. So now I feel like a douche for showing it because there's someone on Amazon to sell it for $995. They can eat a whole bag of assholes.
Not half a bag.
Not half a bag. Topped off the brim of the raw, naked, unshaved buttholes.
Well.
And we talked about Richard Wagner and Siegfried's Funeral, which is an amazing composition of intellectual and articulated music.
Who?
Richard Wagner, dude. Famous composer.
Sure. It's all good, Phil. You got it. Lost the main guy. I'm the main guy.
You are the main guy. I refer to you as the fearless leader.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, when we're done with this tonight, I know you don't like watching yourself like on pre-record, but when we're done with this, before you put it up, I want you to watch my little solo segment. I want you to critique me, please. Please.
I will do that for you.
So how do you want to kick this now that you're back up and running?
I'm ready.
You ready? Want me to show off that really expensive, not supposed to be
let's go ahead and do that.
All right. So
I won't screen share anymore because apparently that's just too much for my internet to handle.
So I have to click share screen. Yes, I know what I'm about to do. Application window, Chrome tab. There it is. Sharing. Why can I not see it? Can you see it?
Yeah, it's up.
All right, there you go. The Biology of Gila Monsters and Bearded Lizards by Daniel Beck.
That looks expensive.
I bought a paper copy like a long time ago, and I think I paid like $30 for a paper copy on the internet, I think, mind you. Now
Due to inflation.
Well, I don't even know if it's in print anymore, but now you can actually buy a mint condition hard copy on Amazon right now for, I believe, $90. I'm actually going to go like this. Can you see that, guys?
No.
No?
Still just looking at the cover.
Okay, so let me do this then. All right, whoops. Application window, Amazon, boom. Nope, there it is. So yeah, so you can see you can actually get a used hardcover for $90. Paperback, I don't know who the hell in their right mind is going to spend $1,000 on a paperback book, but somebody who has $1 billion may want to do it. I like this book specifically because there's a lot of Gila monster knowledge out there. This particular guy, Dan Beck, isn't a legit expert, and his book is technical enough for guys and gals that want the technological nonsense, but it's not unreadable. It's quite readable. You can filter through some of the science jargon and facts that you're going to receive from reading the book. So anybody who wants to get into Gilas and Betas, they want a grown-up book with that's easy to read. This is what I would recommend. I would highly recommend.
It has the Wolf of Wheeler Eye stamp of approval.
Oh my God, I'm getting that as a stamp. I'm getting the silhouette of a Cinctus with a wiggle butt.
Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable.
We can tell. It's not easy being a Sasquatch.
Is it not cold down there?
No, man, it's 82.
Are you kidding me?
I literally have no pants on. Call it spade a spade.
It's freaking freezing.
I wish my screen bent like that. I literally have no pants.
It's 45 and raining consistently.
I wish it was 45, man. Dude, I loved it when we were at Carpet Fest. Dude, shorts and a hoodie. That is my dream uniform. It's like 80. It's probably not 82. It's probably like 78, maybe 79. It's a little bit of a breeze. It's still muggy, though.
You're not even that far away. How is this even? Well, I guess you are. Never mind. You're way down there.
Right. What parallel are you on? I'm on the 26th parallel.
I don't know. I didn't go to space camp.
You don't have to go to space camp. You're an educated man. You produce a goddamn magazine. Which, by the way, we did talk about while you were gone. We talked about that a little bit.
Oh yeah. Would
Yes,
you divulge?
I said that there's a lovely Atheros article that was what we were talking about when you got cut out.
Yeah, that sucker's gonna be like 8 pages long. I feel bad, but that's only because like one species per page.
Oh yeah, that'll happen.
I tried, like, he put so much information that there's no way I could break it down, because ideally I would have had like split it in half, but then I would have had to make the pictures really small and stuff, and you can't really get a good appreciation for like, because Squamager and Broadly Eye look very similar. There's like, it's like the difference between the Matildae and the Ceratophora. There's very small differences.
Right.
You know, if I did like a little thumbnail size image, you're gonna be like, that looks like a squam. You know? Exactly.
So, did Nipper provide all the photos or no?
No. So here's the, like, he put in the Mount Canyons, right?
Right.
Well, unsurprisingly, there's not a whole lot of good pictures of those out there, because there's really not that many keeping them.
Horrible, because mine were cell phone pictures from when I had an old LG phone like 15 years ago.
So, as it turns out, this morning, there's a guy in the Atheros group who posted a picture of one, like a really good picture, and I messaged him and sent him a friend request like immediately. I was like, "Hey, nice. I really need this picture. can I use it for the magazine? He's like, yeah, if you give me credit. And I was like, hell yeah, I will. Then he ended up sending me like 3 more.
Excellent.
And then he sent me a handful of Nishii pictures that he had, like high res, high quality.
Awesome.
And then I said I needed Chlorecus too, and he was like, he sent me a couple of those that his friend took. And it actually turns out, because I told Nipper, I was like, dude, I got the Mount Kenyans. And he's like, from who? And it's
not again. Oh no. Oh God, he's a cigar unicorn. Somebody needs to screenshot this because he is a cigar unicorn. Yep, I just took that picture. Well, if any of you are still listening and I didn't get kicked out, please feel free to comment. It's going to be a long night, boys and girls. A long night. Good night, though. Good. I'm not a nicotine fiend, Jake, but I have had a bit to drink and I'm smoking my cigar, and Justin just texted me, God damn it, in all caps. Sorry, guys. Oh, good. Wagner got a screenshot too. Excellent. That is just the Phil show now. All right. Snakes and stogies and cigarettes because Justin hates cigarettes. Oh, man. And what is going on? My phone is blowing up. Oh, Mr. Reed has the Daniel Beck Gila Monster book. Let me show this off to everyone who wants to see Ryan in all of his beautiful face. If I can get this to work right. There it is. He's got the book. Excellent. Ah, man. For those of you that were curious, I went on the iPhone weather app thing, and for those of you who live north of the 30th parallel, here in Boca Raton, it is partly cloudy and it is 76 degrees. I was a little off. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So I don't want to kick off into conversation because then Justin's not here and he's our fearless leader. He needs to be there. He is. He's back.
I'm so pissed, dude.
By the power
I'm using the mobile hotspot on my phone, so I'm gonna go restart my modem, and that way I won't use all my data on my hotspot.
All right.
And hopefully by the time it gets its shit together, I won't have to do this again. So
you know what this is? This is the redneck gods getting mad at you for drinking 7-Up and not Mountain Dew. Oh, Dom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's so cold. Oh, man.
I don't understand. All the lights are
great things.
Fucking green, man. All right.
You're here? You're happy?
I don't know. Hang tight.
Okay. I'm keeping them on ice for you. Cube after cube after cube. Dom says that she's freezing her cojones off in Cincinnati because it's 27 degrees Fahrenheit. And Wagner says it's 23. Sean, if you're working tonight, my sincerest apologies, sir. Bring extra gloves. Oh, and by the way, Justin, if you can hear us, which I think you're actually frozen again, either that or you're having a stroke, which is not funny, but marginally funny. We got a screenshot of you with a cigar in your head like a unicorn. Did you hear that?
What?
I was saying that you just you just froze like a stroke victim, which is not funny. I'm sorry. And both Wagner and I got a screenshot of you with a cigar in your head like a unicorn. So I will be sending that to Billy later so that Billy can work his Photoshop magic.
Jeff already sent it to me.
Oh, did he? All right. Good. There it is. Oh, man. Reed was on the ocean today? What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? The whole East Coast is shivering, and you're going to go out on the water? Barf.
Buzz, your girlfriend.
Buzz, girlfriend, woof. Don't you love how the tarantula changes throughout the movie?
Yeah, it's like a different species every
Yeah,
frame.
it starts off as like, I don't even know, is it a golden choco? And then like later on it's a rose.
It turns into like a skeleton.
Yeah.
And then it turns into like a Costa Rican zebra.
Spider's the spider. Like, oh man. Oh man, all of our friendly neighborhood government employees are working on these horrible weathers. Horrible weathers. I know, that was proper vernacular. Weathers. And now we have service and he leaves us. Yep. And look what it's forcing me to do. It's forcing me to smoke another cigarette. You drive a man to drink.
I hate Christmas.
Are you ready to do this like live show now or no?
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to get it consistent.
I know. Listen, man, I can only keep on ice for so long. I plug the podcast, I plug the magazine, I plug the
ice so long.
Selfless plug after selfless plug. We talked about romantic error in classical music. I mean, this cast is all over the place. Dominique is saying how she's literally freezing to death, even though Sean is colder than she is. Just saying.
She's in Ohio. No one's happy in Ohio.
Hey, man. I used to watch the Drew Carey show. If that's what people in Ohio are like, I'm game.
I don't think it is.
Except for Mimi. She's fucking scary.
Speaking of Drew Carey,
yeah.
I was reading a headline the other day. His ex-fiance got murdered the other day.
Really?
Her ex-boyfriend apparently like threw her off a balcony in her apartment building or something.
Yo, that's some deep shit.
Very bizarre.
I could see someone stabbing somebody. I could see someone hitting somebody with a blunt object.
Like, nah, you're going down.
Ooh, that's some Scarface anger. I'm actually disappointed. If Henry is watching, normally he blows me up, and I have nothing. So I'm wondering if Henry's not watching us. Excuse me.
It burns.
It burns the nostrils, stings the nostrils. It's made with bits of real Panthers. You know it's good.
Yeah, Dominique, and he also just like got out of there as soon as he graduated.
Yeah. So, Reed informed us that he owns the Gila Monster book, which is awesome.
He did.
And I told him we were going to talk about Facebook, and then we were going to talk about substrates and stuff. So if there's anything else, if you want to talk about a horrible internet service, I'm game. This is chill as hell tonight.
Yeah, I'm about to like call up CenturyLink tomorrow and threaten to find another company if they don't give me
fix their shit,
fix their stuff, like charge me less something, because this is ridiculous. Like, it's so frustrating. It'll work fine for like 2 weeks straight, and then we'll have a week where it's just a freaking disaster.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Like, most of the time when we do this, I don't have that many issues. Like, the light is on. Everything's blinking and working fine. But my thing is, like, no internet.
Yeah. I had, so we have Xfinity, and I was getting no download at all. Like, less than 1 megabyte per second. I couldn't figure out why. And I wound up getting annoyed, and I called them, and they're like, oh, it's because of this, because of that. Excuse me. And I was like, no, you need to send a technician out and find out what the hell's going on. So I guess, and if any of you people know what you're talking about more than me, feel free to chime in. But I guess when they send out those bandwidths into the atmosphere, I don't know if it's the FAA or somebody has a cap on how many bands are allowed to go out.
Yeah, because the aliens will find us, dude.
Right. And I guess the companies get fined if too many waves are exiting. Well, apparently there was a hole in my line that they think was maybe done by like a gardener with a weed whacker. You know, like somebody in the apartment complex community, whatever, accidentally cut it. So they put a cap on it, on my whole building, which I guess I'm the only one that actually has Xfinity. So my neighbors were like, "Oh no, our internet's fine," and I'm like, "Well, why is mine less than 1 megabyte a second?" Guy came out, redid the lines, they paid for everything, which is good, and now we have good internet. So I'm pleased. Maybe that's what you got.
Must be nice.
Maybe your neighbor hit your line with a weed whacker and they capped you.
If you saw my neighbor's yard, you'd understand that that's not possible.
Oh, dude, Copney says you should record the call and add it to the episode.
Like, I'm usually not that nasty to people. Like, the person who takes your call, it's not their fault the internet's not working. But at the same time, it's like, look, this has consistently been an issue. I understand this is not singly your fault, person in another country at the call center. You know, right. But it's like, y'all gotta like do something. I don't send a freaking cavalry. I don't care. Cut my bill in half, whatever. Like, just fix my shit.
Yeah.
Literally, internet's the only thing we have. We don't even have like cable, phone. Like, we just pay for internet. And, like, that's the most simplest thing that y'all can handle.
Right.
I'm gonna try switching back to my Wi-Fi. Let's see how this goes.
All right, do it. Let's see what happens.
Let's see if it's back up, and maybe it'll crash again in 10 minutes.
Hopefully not. I'm trying to find some interesting photos to show our faithful viewers.
Well, my Wi-Fi actually currently isn't even showing up on my available Wi-Fi, so...
Really?
There it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got some good shit here. It's looking good. All right. Just in case it crashes. Tell me he's frozen again, guys. He's frozen again. Poor bastard.
I'm here. I'm not frozen.
Oh, now this is weird. Okay, we're good. We're good. Whew. Got a little nervous there for a minute. Got a little nervous. Here, this is what I prepped. This is what I prepped for just in case I lost you again. Can you see it? Yeah.
Purple Mac.
Purple Mac. That's some purple nurple up in there. That is a black purple maculatus.
I love how it has blood red eyes like it's possessed by Satan himself.
Yeah, and these ones here, see how there's a lack of white spots on the sides? You can kind of see a little bit around the neck. When they have that lack of white spots, usually the mouth, the inside of the mouth is bone white, which is awesome. Awesome possum.
You know what else is awesome?
What?
When you're handling those, if you put them on a hook, you tilt the hook up at a slight angle to keep them, because the arboreal stuff likes to climb. They like to go up. So if you angle the hook while you're handling them.
Okay, you want to explain that? Do you want to explain that? Because I'm gonna get angry quick if you don't explain it in intro first.
All right, look. I'm just saying, to be honest, many arboreal vipers will climb up the hook, held with them down. I do just the opposite with arboreal vipers. In fact, I hold the tip at a slight angle up, not parallel or down.
You're literally reading it? You're reading it. You're an asshole. So I don't want to name names. I don't want to be that guy, even though I probably should. But I'm a member of a particular group on Facebook that mentors people who are looking to get into venomous reptiles. So every once in a while, when I happen to have a good picture of myself or someone else doing a proper procedure, a proper technique, because I'm very analytical in that capacity, I like to show it. I like to put the picture up and say, this is, what is that? Is he frozen again? What is that? Tim McGraw. Thank you. I like to put the picture up and then in the hopes that it helps people. And if anything, starts a discussion. Well, a particular person who is marginally renowned in the reptile industry in the United States, who's been around a very, very long time and does know an ample amount of information about reptiles, proceeded to write a post as a reply to mine, legitimately contradicting what I said. And at the time, the snake that I was holding in the picture is a relatively rare snake. I mean, it's not crazy rare, but rare enough. It's not the norm.
Not as rare as they used to be.
Not as rare as they used to be. You're correct. So what does he do? He puts up a picture of a $5,000 or $6,000 snake with him holding it on the hook incorrectly.
That's even rarer.
It's even rarer. So I'm not annoyed with the one-upping of the snake. Oh, he has a rarer, more expensive snake. Whatever, who cares? I'm more upset that the fact that he literally, blatantly, fully contradicted the, in my opinion, adequate advice that I was portraying. Man, that was fucking PC as hell, was it not?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like for non-venomous stuff, like the Boiga, like Amazon Trevo is, yeah, if you make it handle up, they have a tendency to climb up. And I'm sure venomous arboreals are no different. Like if they're living in the trees, their natural inclination is to go up. But there's still, I mean, there were multiple people that talked about in that same thread, you know, how they've had eyelash vipers or copperheads, which copperheads are really no surprise because when was the last time you had a copperhead like really ride a hook like a champion?
Right.
Slide down the hook because you're holding it at an angle, like up with the hook up here rather than parallel, like you were saying it should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're doing that, the snake's just gonna, like, if the stars align, the snake's just gonna slide down the end and right on your hand. Which I guess if you're not fully paying attention to what's going on in front of you, you're probably not gonna catch in time.
Oh yeah, and it's fast, real fast. I've had it happen where I was using two hooks.
I'm not doing it with anything venomous.
Dropping.
Yeah. Like arboreal, I mean. Like arboreal or not. And that was my response to the whole thing was like, whether it's arboreal or whether it isn't, why even take the chance? Like,
right. We used to have a kid that did venomous, and his name was Matt. No, his name was Rob. But we all thought his name was Matt. And my one friend Chris was helping us out, and for a while, and we all kept calling him Matt, and he kept responding to it. So we're like, all right. And then one day he just snapped on Chris, and he was like, "Dude, my name is not Matt. My name is Rob." And Chris goes, "Rob, Matt, Rob, whatever." So we called him Matt Rob for the duration of our friendship. But we used to say that he had a saggy elbow because he would hold the snake hook and he would have it under his forearm right here. But he'd get lazy and his elbow would sag.
Yeah.
What my wrist is doing. So like if this is the snake hook, right? And he had it right, and his elbow would sag, and then the angle of the hook would go up and be like, "Dude, saggy elbow." And it got to the point where a couple times you'd have to smack him on the elbow with the snake hook, and he would go, "Oh, let me fix it."
No.
So that's a great question, Dom.
That's my answer.
The answer is no to free handling. There are instances in venomous herpetoculture when the animal is larger, more robust, or more rotund, and you're not free handling, but you're doing what I refer to as manual manipulation. For example, a 14
sounds like a fancy word for free handling.
It's not. A 14-foot king cobra is not going to ride a hook. It's not going to. You're going to use the hook to remove the animal from the enclosure, to remove a piece of the animal, a section of the animal from the enclosure, to which point you're going to have to get hands on. And at that point, you've now removed the animal with your hands, and you're still using the hook to direct the animal and to give the animal cues, because they are very intelligent, much like you would use the gaff with an elephant.
Or a child.
Or a child with a pull cue.
Bamboo cane.
Boken. But yeah,
see, now when I hear free handling, though, I'm thinking like full on, like hardcore, dumbass. Like
Yeah, if you're playing with a snake in your hands, you're a moron.
I'm French kissing my timber rattlesnake, which I saw online today as well.
I should have sent you that. I shouldn't have. I'm watching. It's like I can't. I just can't.
Like when I hear free handling, that's what I think of. Like I don't consider tailing, like hook in one hand, tail in the other, like moving stuff around, unless it's something tiny. And then it's like, why are you tailing that at all? Whatever. But so that's like where I draw the line. It's like tailing is not free handling. Is tailing something you should do constantly? Like anytime you have a venomous out? No, I don't think it is. I think it's necessary in some instances. Like say you got a really like wiry ass cobra or something, some sort of elapid that's like not sitting still, tail it. If it's like a gab or a rhino or something bigger that's just kind of just sitting there, like there's really no need to, because to me, like your interaction with venomous should be from whatever you're taking it out of to clean to whatever's holding it until the time being, until it goes back. Like it's not, hey, let's let the let's let the giant puff roam around for a minute or two. I want to see it just cruise.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like
now don't get me wrong.
A to B to C back to A.
Right. Now don't get me wrong. I take out animals all the time. My animals I take out and I will put them on the trash can lid because we use a very large trash can as a container to hold them while we're cleaning the cage. So I'll put the lid on the trash can, I'll put the animal in the trash can, I'll look at it, maybe I'll take some pictures. Maybe I'll do some kind of medical thing. Maybe I'll have someone distract the animal while I pick up the rear of the animal to palpate it to make sure that it doesn't have any digestive problems.
Right, but I'm saying you're not doing any of that just for the sake of doing it, because you're bored and you want to.
Correct. And then don't get me wrong. I mean, I've touched stuff because I wanted to touch stuff. Don't get me wrong. I got caught by that same friend Chris when I was working the room at Strictly. We got in a couple. Guyanese Bushmasters, and I was like, man, these I have to touch this. I have to touch this animal. I have to feel the dragon skin, and I tubed it, and I'm standing there, and I have the animal in the tube, and I'm petting it like this. I'm like petting the skin, and Chris walks in, and he's like, bro, what are you doing? I was like, I had to touch it. I had to touch it.
But you tubed it.
But I tubed it. I did not free handle it. I did not pick it up and go, oh, no, I did not boop the snoot. I removed the animal with 2 hooks, placed it into a giant Rubbermaid tub, and then I proceeded to very patiently and diligently coerce the animal into the tube to the point where its face was well within the tube that I could grab it by the tube in the body and it removed the animal from the container.
You don't just leave like the front half in the tube?
What?
So you didn't just leave like the front half in the tube?
I did, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying you were removing it from the tube. I got you. I know what you're saying now.
Yeah, the first third of the animal is in the tube, and I'm grabbing tube and snake together so that they can't back out of the tube.
Right.
Right. So, yeah.
Dude, I use tubes for the big conjures all the time. Anytime I got to do something with them, they got stuck shed, tube them. Like, you want to talk about making life so much easier.
Yeah.
Tubing. And I actually have an idea, because the ones that I get from Lowe's, the cheap ones that are made for like fluorescent bulbs that are like $2 a piece and they're like 6 feet long. Right. I will never use those for venomous, but for anything non-venomous, they're perfect. I thought about taking it and cutting it so that way I can make it as small or as like wide as I need to, because it'll like fit into itself. So it would be like that.
Right. Right.
Because that way I could do like the small, I could do Boiga if I needed to, which usually them I can like work my way up the body enough to just like let it, you know how like they get to a point where you get close to the neck and they end up backing out.
Of course.
And you're just grabbing them that way. I do that with the Boiga and a lot of the other stuff, but like the big chondros and stuff that are a lot more pugnacious and aren't that willing to cooperate.
Right.
You know, tubes are.
I have seen more cases of a harmless snake getting a tooth stuck in its own lip because it was trying to bite you, or straining its jaw, straining the ligaments in its jaw because it's trying to turn and bite you. Or I've seen guys where they grab cobras by the head, which is something I never ever do. I don't milk. I don't need to milk. I'm not a milker, so I don't have a venom lab. There's no need for me to do that. But they grab the cobra behind the head improperly, and what is behind the head? It's those thin ribs that make up the hood. Those thin ribs, they're very, very brittle. And if you squeeze too rough, you'll break it and you'll snap it. And it's almost like, you can't put a cast on a rib, you know?
Right.
So what happens is the snake does heal from it, but then that hood is deformed, or it has like a chip in it, or it's misshapen, or they are unable to open that side of the hood, and now it's lopsided, or it can't open those ribs at all.
Or it actually did injure them, and then they get an infection.
That's true.
Worst case scenario.
Dude, I've seen so many emerald tree boas die of mouth rot because some asshole pinned it and opened its mouth with a snake hook, not a speculum, not a medical implement, an actual dirty-ass snake hook that they shoved in its mouth and pulled the fangs out to show people the emerald tree boa fangs. And then when they take the hook out, those fangs go and it stabs itself with its own fang and gets a mouth infection.
And it's an emerald, so you know if you look at them wrong, they're probably just going to die.
Yeah, you can't look at them wrong. You can't breathe on them. Yeah. Where's Andy? Doesn't he have some emeralds?
He does, but he doesn't finger fuck his.
Man, that tangent went on like 4 different pathways, bro.
It was impressive.
So yes, long story short, Dom, we don't free handle. We don't condone free handling. However, I understand and I respect manual manipulation.
You want to know something like my one sort of criteria for the magazine? Like if I have someone who wants to write an article about venomous, if I see a single picture of them free handling venomous, I'm flat out telling them, no, I'm not. Like if you free handle, your name isn't going to the magazine. It's not happening. I'm like such a prude about that stuff.
Good.
And I mean, I know back in your day when you were you were a hip young gunslinger, you had your thing, but you're not that. You're not that. You've learned.
And here's the thing too. There are pictures of me out there holding cobras. And it's hypocritical. Let's call a spade a spade. It's hypocritical. But there are pictures of me holding cobras where you can't see it because the camera's on me. But there's 4 other people in the room. They're all doing this. They have their hat off and they're going like this with the hat, trying to get that snake's attention so that I can lift it up off the ground and get a look at its side, get a look at its body, and then obviously take a cool picture. That's what it is. You will never find a picture of me with a rattlesnake through my fingers. You'll never find a picture of me with a viper in my hand, flat out. Okay? And the cobras that we took pictures with, they were cobras we had 8 to 10 years and we're working with every day, if not 3-4 times a week, to the point where that cobra knew us and it liked certain people and didn't like others, which is why I was the one picking it up, taking the picture, and the other guy that it didn't like was going like this. So I'm not making excuses. I'm guilty of it. I am. But
that's what I'm saying is like if douchebag who's holding a timber rattlesnake and up to his face message me and is like, dude, I'd love to do an article on timber rattlesnakes, I'd be like, fuck off.
Right.
No, thank you.
Yeah, not gonna happen. You won't get that from me. There's also something that I never tell people, and I'll tell them now because I don't care. We're on this topic. And yes, Wagner, tangents are good sometimes. There's a theory that we jokingly call it the fresh 5 minutes. So the fresh 5 minutes is when you get an animal fresh in, whether it be from an import shipment or one that you caught in the wild. And typically this is only done with cobras, only done with Naja genus. Okay, it's not done with rattlesnakes. It's not done with vipers. It's not done with things. It's not done with ringcalls. It's strictly done with Naja. The 5 minutes is basically when you get that animal in, it's so discombobulated and confused that you literally could pick it up and play with it like a corn snake, and it's not going to attack because it's like, oh my God, where am I? What's going on? Where's my home? Oh my God. But after that 5 minutes, it realizes, oh, I'm in a snake room. That's a human.
Time to murder.
I've tried to kill that before, back in India, back in Sri Lanka, back in Java.
Back when I popped out of my basket.
Yeah. That is also
floating the damn recorder in my face.
Right. That's also the same way that you see the pictures of the people holding the egg, and the cobra is hatching out of the egg in their hand, and the cobra is hooded up inside its own egg, seconds old, minutes old.
Well, they're also probably exhausted.
Not only is it exhausted, but it's never seen a human before. It has no idea what the world is. It's fresh. It's the fresh 5 minutes. That's how they get those photos. So anytime you see someone that's free handling a cobra or free handling something exotic or has a baby cobra hatching out of an egg, not only is it staged to hell, but you may have missed or not been shown the 45 minutes before that photo of them tiring that snake out, exhausting that snake of all of its energy to the point where finally it's like, fine.
Just take the damn picture.
Take the damn picture. Right. End tangent.
As he lights up another cigarette.
Another fucking cigarette. Who said it earlier that I was chain smoking in between cigar hits?
I don't remember.
Yeah, you were frozen.
I was probably frozen in time.
Just out of curiosity, how many people are watching right now?
9.
9. All right. Solid number. We should get it up to 10 people. Get it up to 10.
No, but these, I mean, like, you'd be surprised. I don't know if you've checked the YouTubes at all. Like, we average like 50 views an episode so far on these things. So other people are finding them, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I'm happy with you 9. I love you 9. You 9 are freaking great.
We got our own little crew here regularly.
7 or 8 of them are the only ones that ever watch. But that's fine. I love it. It's good. It's good.
So I got those bears from Ron Allen.
Oh, yeah. Tell me all about them. You set them up. You fed them.
Dude, they ate like freaking monsters. Like, I put them in their tub. Like 2 minutes. Offered them a pinky. They just grabbed it.
Love it.
Took it down. The male is slightly thinner than I probably would have them, so I'm going to be loading them up a little bit.
All right.
How much did I pay for my bears? I believe Ron, I paid $75 a piece for them. So I don't know. Ron said he had like 3 or 4 left, and if anybody was interested to hit him up. So I sent a couple.
No. Not again. No. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, geez, Louise. Well, for those of you who cared to see his bears, I was actually I was pulling up the picture that he posted on Instagram of them. So here's that picture. Oh, he has to approve the split screen. Darn it. All right, well, we'll hold off on that for a minute. Yeah. The Baird's Rat King of the South. And he's back, the Baird's Rat King of the South. I'm so sorry, Justin. You look so angry, bro. Oh, my God, you look so angry. Well, here, this should make you happy. I was trying to show our fine viewers your lovely Instagram photo. Please accept that. There they are in all of their adorableness.
Yeah, those are August babies too, I think, is what he told me.
Cool.
Actually, I need to go and write that down on the
Oh, this is a video. Never mind.
That is a video. That is my IGTV video.
We're out. I'm making a mistake. Ah. Oh, man.
I don't know how far I got before I froze again.
You were basically saying that you said it just like this. You said, well, I bought them and I paid.
I got them for $75, and then I was saying Ron has like 3 or 4 left. I believe he said. So hit him up. He's on Facebook and Instagram. These are the Texas variety. The parents were Texas. They were actually field collected parents from Rob Roy McInnes. Is that how you say his last name?
How do you say his last name?
I asked Ron if he could find out where exactly they were pulled from, so I would know. And I don't know if that'll happen or not, so we'll see. But
these are the lighter silverier ones.
They're not like Loma Alta nice, but they're really orange in the face, really gunmetal bodies. They're nice adults. Like they're really good looking.
Do you have pictures of the adults that we can see?
Okay.
I love how Cox enters and he's just like, "Fuck y'all." Justin freezing earlier with a cigar as a unicorn. We screenshotted it. It was glorious.
Fucking bullshit.
Cox, tell me you're drinking some bourbon right now, Bubba. Tell me. I actually went to go pour some Angel's Envy and I ran out. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
That's the dam?
Dude, that looks like Ramphiophis. What do you call it? That's cool. That's really good. I like the dark tone on top of the head. Yeah.
They are silvery.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Yes, Sean. I did see that female on fauna. So there's. I thought about it. But so there's this weird thing with some bears, and I talked to Troy Hibbets about it a little bit because I've noticed with a few of mine they have this I call it short face syndrome. So you have bears that have these long mamba-esque coffin boxy heads, and then you have these ones that are it's sort of more rounded and it's stumpier looking. And it looks more almost like a beak snake more than the mamba sort of thing.
It looks like red-headed beak snake. That's the word. That's the name I was trying to find. Ramphiophis punctius.
Yeah. And so I was talking to Troy Hibbets about it, and he thinks, what did he say? I'll have to find it.
And that's not the same genetic abnormality that we see in the bridle eye, is it?
I don't think so. Let me see. Let me find it.
It's getting low, people. Cox is drinking wine. What kind of wine are you drinking, Cox?
He said some obsoleta complex snakes, including some bear dye, when raised in captivity and fed on smallish mice, end up with a much shorter head than wild-caught snakes. He says, I don't see this as often in Texas bear dye, but with one Mexican bear dye he raised, it did end up with a short snout. And oddly enough, the ones that I see it in are ones that are the Mexican phenotype. I don't have any background on them, but they're pretty much your typical Mexican in terms of the colors and stuff. So yeah, I saw that female and I was just kind of, I get worried about picking up crosses and not knowing they're crosses because people don't know how to label shit correctly or they don't know these things.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I now have 5.6 to these things, so it's not really I need another one. If I see one at a show, I'll buy it, and I may have to find another male just to even it out to make it a 6.6. But
yeah,
dude, I've got more of those things now than I think the chondros. Yeah.
How many chondros you got?
I don't know.
Enough.
2, 3.
I do the same thing, folks. How many snakes do you have? I don't know. Give me
11, I think.
Nice. Excellent.
Oh, that's the same amount. Yeah.
There you go.
I love the bears, man. I really hope that I have something happening with my adult bear.
That'll be good. How many babies have you pre-sold? Was that a goose egg?
Yeah, I don't do that stuff, dude.
No. Let me rephrase that. Not actually pre-sold. How many have you said that you'd sell to your friends? Like, does like Billy wants?
Not that many. Like, if I told Billy, because he's legitimately interested in them, I'd be like, when I have some, we'll talk.
Okay. All right.
They're awesome.
They're awesome.
I finished my article on those yesterday. Like, I finished the layout.
It's good.
Everything, and
I'm excited.
I'm pretty pumped about it because like there's really not a lot of information about them out there, like in depth. You know, aside from the book that Dusty Rhodes put out. Like you go online and there's, I mean, I could probably count on one hand how many like care sheets there are, and they all pretty much say the exact same thing.
Okay. Well,
so I hope this helps.
I need colubrids like a hole in the head. But I know that after I read your article, I'm probably gonna want some. Yep. Probably gonna want a pair.
Cause like,
oh yeah, that's awesome. Look at that little baby right there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That was one of my Mexicans when it was tiny. That was like from like 3 years ago. Now it's a beast.
We need to go catch him in the wild. We just need to.
Dude, the first time we were on NPR, me and Jake, they were like, what's the number one place you want to go herping? And I was like, Southwest Texas. And they're like, what? Because, of course, Jake's like, Australia. And they're all like, Australia. I'm like, Southwest Texas, man.
Yeah.
A, I can go longer for cheaper. B, I want to see gray bands. I want to see bears. I want to see subocs. I want to see cool rock rattlesnakes.
Yup.
Like,
collaborate for days.
I want to see all the cool stuff.
And God forbid something happens, you can walk home.
Right?
Oh,
that's one of my Mexicans, and then one of my Loma Altas.
Dude, all right. So how big do the adults get? Jinx.
Stand by. I'll go grab one and I'll show you.
Ooh, we got a live demonstration.
Yeah.
Because I literally just got a crazy idea that I need to find a suboc and I need to do a bomb-ass enclosure with a clobberai and a suboc and a Baird's in the same enclosure. I'm asking for such trouble. Oh, God. Scotch. Yep. I did a thing today, guys. I took a CB70 rack, and actually last night and today, I took a CB70 rack that only had a gigantic geriatric, like 17-year-old yellow rat snake in it, and I reorganized it, so now it is completely Florida.
I gotta make it quick because it's like cold as shit in here, but
oh yeah,
this one's in shed.
That's
like deep in blue. This is, I mean, they get bigger than this, but this is a 3-year-old snake.
That's the perfect size pet snake.
They get like longer than a corn.
Yeah.
But we're deep in blue, so we're super dull right now.
It's all right.
I originally thought this was the male, but I'm pretty sure this is actually the female because we just shed not that long ago. Actually, no, I don't know. This might be the boy. I know, you're really irritated with me right now. Curl up in my hoodie.
Can you speed bump him like a boa?
Speed bump him?
Yeah, you know where you gently pull on the tail and you can feel the hemipenes? A little speed bump.
I mean, it's not really there, but...
Yeah, fuck the article. I need them.
I think that's a boy. Like, that's a long tail.
Yeah. You stepped away. I don't know if your headphones were still in or whatever, but I was just telling the folks that I kind of was having the idea of doing a big giant enclosure with a clobberai and a suboc and a Baird's all in the same enclosure and like plant some succulents and some non-thorny cacti in there. And
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Oh, I'm retarded. I need to stop talking.
I don't know, but this one will shed the next couple days and it'll look really good, and I'll send you pictures. But
yeah,
we're like uber dull, like I said. We're eyes are like completely smoked out.
Yeah, I can see that. How collusive are they?
Let's go back.
Well, Cox, you and I both got our question answered. Excellent. This is the theme of tonight. The dad's moving, and she's trying to find a landlord that likes snakes. Physical impossibility. That's why Florida Fish and Wildlife, whenever their investigators and their agents have to come to your home, they drive unmarked cars. Because if they had marked cars, the neighbors would freak out. One time, I was subleasing, and I didn't know it. And I got a phone call saying that all of the snakes had to be out within 24 hours because the house was being reappraised. And the property appraiser was coming, and there weren't supposed to be any animals. So I rented a U-Haul truck, and I literally took all of my vision cages and racks with the animals, water dishes, everything still inside them. I had a friend help me schlep everything to the backyard where the truck was parked. I put everything in the truck, and the guy came the next day, did the inspection. That night, I put everything back. Yep, that happened. Did Justin freeze again? He froze there, and he's back. All right.
Switching internets again.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, peeps.
His rule is, your landlord's rule is, as long as it doesn't have fur, it's okay. That's the greatest landlord in the world. That's amazing. What are you doing? Dog pee and cat pee and stuff? That's crazy.
Hen dog.
Hey, hen dog. Going in the fire.
But yeah, man, they're awesome snakes. Those bears, super mellow.
Yeah.
For the most part, I won't say mellow, like they're mellow in the fact that like they're not bitey.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a handful that are super spastic, like Pitias, like
okay.
Open the tub, we're gonna try and take off, like that kind of bullshit.
Yeah. So, this is a horrible segue, but now that Hen Dog is here, Hen Dog on humidity patrol, he's trying to get the humidity in his snake room appropriate, and he's obsessing is what he's doing. He wants it to be a particular percentage, and it's slightly over, so he's obsessing. Regardless, that's our boy Hen Dog. Now that Henry is here, though, I would like to talk about that substrate, if we may.
Are you asking me or him?
I'm asking you, dude. This is the show.
Substrate?
You're the co-host of this. I was talking about how I want to talk about some naturalistic vivarium stuff.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Yes.
So wild.
So, obviously, I'm looking at the purple spotted pit vipers, and they come from a mangrove environment. And the only thing that I know about some of the guys that do actual mangroves is they do a brackish water, which I did not want to do. And a lot of guys will plant real mangroves, but I saw another guy that had fake mangroves that were like fiberglass or whatever from a pet store. And I think I have some at my parents' house in my old fish tank. But I was looking at guys that keep mud skippers, and they have a clay that is, excuse me, it's dense and it holds moisture, and you can actually put isopods and springtails in it, and they'll live in the nooks and the crannies of the mud. And all you do is, when you mist down the enclosure or you make it rain or whatever, the mud gets wet again and gets a little soupy, and you just make sure it doesn't get too soupy. And then you can have that mud or that clay as your substrate. I didn't know if you'd heard of anything like that.
I haven't. But I think brackish water is probably a pain in the ass to get right in captivity, because I know like Brett and Jason, who do the Diamondback Terrapins, they do that with theirs, and they have it down to a science. But I feel like for anything else,
right, and I'm sure it's a lot easier to do it in a big enclosure with Diamondback Terrapins opposed to doing it in a goddamn Exoterra.
Why would you do it with perps?
What's that?
Why would you do that with perps?
I was just thinking like doing like a mangrove enclosure because they're mangrove vipers.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. I was like, is there something I'm missing here?
No, they're mangrove vipers. Yeah, those are mangrove vipers. They actually call them shore pit vipers, like the non-American term. So I'm sure they handle brackish quite well. But I was thinking about, I think I still have those fake mangroves in my parents' house, or I was going to maybe even buy real ones. But I didn't want to deal with the brackish. I just didn't want to deal with it, you know. And then, but I didn't know if you'd heard anything about using mud or clay.
I haven't.
Bioactive substrate.
How is what's a good price for 1.1 of those perps? An adult pair.
I have no idea because they haven't been around a very long time. And are we talking about the normal green with the purple dots?
Yeah.
I would imagine $300-400 maybe for an adult for the green with the purple dots. Why?
There's a guy that owns a store locally to me that's a complete idiot, and he's got a pair for like $1,000.
What do they look like? Can you throw up a picture?
Like your regular perps. They're not the dark ones like you have. They're your standard perps.
Throw them up. Let's see these little bastards if you got them.
I know he doesn't have pictures on his website.
Okay. Yeah, normally you get two main types of purples. You get the green with purple spots, and it's not like independent purple spots. It's very, very clustered and very cluttered. It almost looks purple. And then you get a purple with green spots with some of the white spots. But then you also have a red morph, where it's red with white dots going down the sides. You have the dark, rich violet one, which is kind of what I'm looking for. And then you have all black, which is what I want. And then you have like a charcoal color where it's like a faded gray that fades to black with still having the white belly and the white dots. Either I'm content with either. I want the black ones just because I never had them. I actually have a picture of my old female that I bred. This one I got from our friend who remains nameless. I got this from him as a wild caught adult back in 2007 or 2008. And she dropped a full litter. And those babies came out purple. And I wound up wholesaling them like an idiot. But this was my female. So this is like the norm, if I can get the picture right.
Yeah. See, that's what these ones look like.
Yeah. So you see you've got basically green with purple overtones and the white belly with some yellow.
Yeah, I mean, even that one looks better than one of the ones he has.
Okay. Actually, Hen Dog, you have pictures of the red one from yesterday? Because I didn't get a picture of it.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna. This dude, I'm starting to get my blood pressure up just looking at this dude's stuff.
So don't look at it, bro.
I'm not now.
This is kind of what I want to recreate. If I can get it, this is what I want to recreate. I sent this to our group chat earlier, and I made a joke about the beer can. There is actually a beer can in the background, but this is literally the environment that they live in. Let's see if we can get this right. So you can see it's like that swampy, muddy muck.
It's just an Asian cottonmouth.
It's just an Asian cottonmouth. It's an arboreal cottonmouth, which is probably why I like it.
See you later, Dom.
Deuces, Dom. But yeah, I was thinking about that clay, and then Henry and I have actually been looking at yes, Cox there, totally. Henry and I have actually been looking at different types of clays. He actually found is it black clay, Henry? That's from West Texas. That when you expose it to a lot of heat, it gets those cracks and fissures in it.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought that looks cool. There's actually a guy that him and I both follow on Instagram called Matt Somerville. He's in Western Australia, and he has taipans and brown snakes and dugats, and some of his banded dugats. And he has, what is it? Is it a dugat? No, I think it's a banded Western brown snakes of sorts. He gets this clay from the outback, and he wets it. And then he puts in like pipes and tubes and stuff to make underground tunnels, fills it all in, and then blasts it with heat lamps, and it dries and it cracks.
Mm-hmm.
And snakes live in those cracks and in those tunnels and stuff. And then once a year, he has it monsoon where he literally floods the cage with water, and it gets soggy, and then it dries back out again. I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Houston, what is Houston, Henry?
Texas.
I know. I've been there.
The clay. You were talking about the clay and the guy.
Oh, yeah. So the black clay. I'm assuming the black clay is from Houston.
Jesus.
I know. It's been a long night. Look, it's almost empty. Bear with me. Well, there it goes. And to think my mother was going to chime in on this one. What a one for her to chime in.
Mama Wolf.
I actually messaged her on Facebook to see if she was watching, and she didn't reply, so I'm assuming she went to bed. Black Dirt, Texas tea.
So I'm at a moral crossroads, man.
Fire away with your conundrum, my esteemed colleague.
I want to be a positive influence.
Yes. Don't we all?
On the hobby. I want to like everybody.
I think you are.
I want to appreciate everybody.
You do for the most part.
But there's some people, and I won't name names. Local guy with the store, I'll say.
Okay.
That when I see him, I want to tell him I don't like him.
That was PC as hell.
I mean, pretty much the extent of like
I want to tell him to not have a nice day.
I just don't interact with him.
It's fine. That's fine.
But I always kind of feel bad because it's like, do you really have a reason? But then I see some of the stuff they post, and I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But I feel like I want to get along with everybody. I want to be like,
yes.
You know, you have guys like Pisco and stuff that are just radiating positivity.
Carly.
And I guess Carly's different. Carly's special.
Carly is an anomaly. God bless her.
I don't know.
I find it easier to hate people when you find out that they dislike you.
See, I don't even care if they do or they don't.
Well, I consider myself a likable guy, and when I find out that someone doesn't like me for whatever reason, if it's a dumb reason, all right, whatever, I don't need to talk to them. But if they're like, I fucking hate Phil because he does this and that, I want to hate them. I do.
Well, see, I used to sell to this guy that owns that store when I was breeding cresteds.
Right.
And for a while, you know, I was like, all right, I think this guy's going to do some good stuff. I think he'll be legit. And then he got like a storefront. And it's just continuous bullshit. All the time. Like, he doesn't know nearly as much as people think he does. Like, he has things. I've heard him tell people how to take care of some stuff in the shop, and it's like dead ass wrong. And like, I really want to get along and support him, and we don't even talk like at all anymore.
Right.
And it sucks. Like, I'm too cynical. I wanna.
You got it up?
Huh?
You got the internet to work?
Kinda. I've been using my phone.
Hey.
What's up, Katie girl?
Isn't
that nice? A beautiful woman at home. Lucky bastard.
You fine.
Yeah, gonna get that Sasquatch on later, ain't you?
Huh?
Come snuggle me soon.
I said
Okay.
Sasquatch. Sasquatch. There's a squatch in these woods.
Like, there's some guys in the chondro community, you know. It's like, man, I really want to enjoy your presence, but I just don't.
Yeah.
And like I said, I feel bad because it's like they really. I mean, some of them like they just haven't done anything in particular to really irritate me, but just the fact that they talk about things and give advice on things that they themselves have pretty much no experience with firsthand, but they're now telling people how to handle it and things like that. It's just, it rubs me the wrong way.
I love it when those people, what's the word I'm looking for? A calcium bearing clay mixture in my springtails and darts. I would love that read. Thank you very much. Pedantic, is that the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Pedantic people, who I don't mind pedantic people if they mean if they mean well. They're trying to spread their love in the only way that they know possible, and that's to educate people, regardless of whether or not that person knows that knowledge or not. I love it. I find it hilarious when someone tries to educate someone in a pompous way, but the person they're educating is a secret expert. I love that.
I've seen some chondro guys do that to Matt Morris on the chondro group, which is kind of funny.
Oh, really?
Matt Morris is like one of the guys, you know, like one of the original.
Nice.
You see him pipe up and say something, it's like, boy, you don't know you don't know who you're talking to.
Well, that's like if you or I went on one of the groups and said something about one of the species that we've been keeping for 10 years, and we're saying it as a joke, like, oh man, my gaboon viper won't eat. I don't know what to do, and like it's a joke, and like all of your friends laugh at it. But then there's that one person that's like, I think you should do this, 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 and this. I can't get mad at them because they don't know, but at the same time, it's hilarious. Hilarious. That's a little mean of me, but still hilarious.
I find myself constantly sort of torn, where it's like, you know, I'm gonna turn a new leaf, I'm gonna be better, and then next week I'm like, fuck that, fuck this, fuck that person. Like, no way.
I recently had a person that I took under my wing, not recent, a couple years back, took under my wing and showed them all the ropes that I could. They took the knowledge, ran, didn't use any of it, and then proceeded to spread lies about me behind my back. Bad lies, like really, really fucked up lies, to the point where
Phil has sexual relations with a goat.
No, probably worse than that.
Nice.
And
you may have told me about that.
I think I did. I think I vented to you about it. This was some months back, and thank God I have other friends that genuinely know me that could vouch for me, because, you know, I had a friend, one of these people that he told went up to my friend and was like, hey man, isn't that guy Phil? Didn't he do X, Y, and Z? And my friend was like, what? Are you crazy? Phil didn't do that. That's the horse shit. Thank God I have people like that in my life.
He dated Aurora Lorraine.
That would be awesome. Cox knows what's up.
It's a demon I wrestle with on like TNA backyard wrestling all the time. Like I'm jumping off the ladder, dropping elbows.
You're a big fella, man. I wouldn't want to fuck with you. Man, the topic changes of this video, this live stream is amazing. Like substrate to shit talking to Facebook drama to books and internet connections and
shut up, Cox.
Is it socially acceptable to not like someone?
See, it's just
who has smelly breath?
Avril.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this. The halitosis.
I don't know, man. I don't really know how to. Like, I don't like go on Facebook and be like, so and so's an asshole. You know, they don't know what they're talking about. Whatever.
But you want to so badly.
Not even. Like, it's just
I do.
frustrating because like I continue
I
to
do.
see them like talk out their ass about stuff they don't know what they're talking about, and it's like, someone please pipe up and be like, yo, when was the last time you actually had to do this or X, Y, and Z with any of your animals? Because I mean, I'm of the opinion, I don't know about you, like in the realm of chondros, there's reading about breeding and hatching babies and taking care of them, and then there's actually having to do it.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
are they wrong because they're just regurgitating what was said in a book or online? Not necessarily, but at the same time, to me, their opinion doesn't hold a whole lot of weight because it's like, I don't want to know what that book told you. I have that book. I have those articles online. I read those. They didn't help me.
You're right.
I want hands-on experience. I don't want you to just feed me the same MVF posts or whatever it is that you post online. Does that seem reasonable? Because
yeah, I think it's fine. I agree with you 110%. I do. Now, if they put out a thing saying, "Hey, I read this here. I haven't tried it, but you may want to look into it." Well, then rock and roll, whether you've read it or not. I say that's fine. I don't
that's one thing too. But I mean, like, there's some people that state these things as if it's something they've experienced millions of times and they've handled, and it's like, I know for a fact you've never dealt with this because you haven't been dealing with so and so species or whatever for a year.
Right. Yep.
It's frustrating.
It is.
And see, that's where I'm at with it, Sean. Like, yeah, and that ties into the whole posturing thing we were talking about the last episode. Is like,
yeah,
just everyone, like, this need to sort of portray that they're more experienced or they have more time with the species than they really do.
Yep.
You know, they get made, you know, they get into these groups and then they get, you know, mod or admin status or something, and they equate that as like, well, clearly I must, you know, it's, you know, the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yep.
I read, there's actually, Adeline Robinson posted an article about it today that I read that was actually really good. I need to send it to you.
Really?
But that thing is so spot on.
I believe it. For those of you who don't know about the Dunning-Kruger effect, and stop me if I'm incorrect on this, but it's basically the point where the person is, I don't want to say talking out of their ass so much, but it's talking out of their ass so much that they actually believe themselves. And they believe themselves to be the expert. I mean, is that a adequate cliff note?
The basis would be more so the people that don't think they know as much as
the people who are legitimate experts aren't going to look
at claiming that they're experts. They're going to say that they don't know it.
They're going to be humble about it, and they're not going to say, "I'm an expert," but they're going to be like, "Hey, listen, you know, I've done this before. You may want to try this, you know." Meanwhile, they've written 6 books about it, and they're just being modest. They're self-conscious. They're self-conscious about their knowledge base. While as you have another person on the opposite end that gains a slight bit of knowledge, like, for example, chondros are arboreal snakes. They live in trees, and all of a sudden now writes a crazy article about how they live in estuary swamps with 100% humidity, when that is, in fact, completely wholeheartedly wrong. Is that better?
I'm looking at the chart right now. See if I can bring it up.
Something that you should probably throw up there. I like that.
So you have like a graph, right? You have confidence,
right,
on the vertical axis, and then you have knowledge on the baseline axis. And it's the experience / knowledge starts at knows nothing to expert. Confidence goes from 0 to 100%, and it's saying basically people that don't know anything are 100% confident in their knowledge and their abilities. The people that do actually know stuff, typically it.
Okay.
Let's see. People need to accept it's okay to not know something. People come to me about retic stuff, and I'm really green as fuck. And I usually tell me 2 cents, then show people to real experts on retics and Super Dwarf Bloodline. Yeah, because I sent Michael Copney to you the other day because he was like, hey, do you know anybody who does anything with Super Dwarfs? I was like, I do. And I was like, Cox, he may not know what you're wanting to know, but I can guarantee you, I'll bet you Cox knows someone you can go to who will.
Right.
Who isn't Greg Hartle, because I'm sure Greg Hartle gets assaulted with questions about Super Dwarfs from everybody. So it's like maybe Cox knows someone else who's maybe not as busy. So I was like, I know someone who deals with Super Dwarfs. Talk to him. If he doesn't know, he can lead you in the right direction.
Right. I've been guilty of it. Exactly what he's saying right there. I've been guilty of it where I thought I knew something, and it turns out that I didn't. I was just getting lucky. And somebody brought it to my attention that person, I honestly don't like that person, but I give them respect because they really know their shit with reptiles. And he was like, hey, listen, he wasn't a dick about it. He was genuinely like, you can't do it like that. They're going to die. You got to do it like this. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me be a man about it. Let me try it his way. He has been doing it for 30 years, and sure as hell, he was right. So it happens.
Well, I posted that video about like treating new arrivals.
Right. I enjoyed that video.
I had someone comment on it. They were like, it was actually my buddy Joel. He was like, well, I have a sunbeam snake. Those you keep more humid. And he's like, what do you do for a species that needs more humidity and you don't keep dry and they need substrate because they're burrowers? And I was like, honestly, I don't know. My assumption, I told him, I was like, I would assume you would just keep them drier for a period of time, treat them while they're drier, maybe offer them moist substrate for a little while, and then go back to a dry treatment again. I was like, surely someone somewhere knows, but I was like, I don't know. And I think that's a major problem with social media and stuff is people now like saying I don't know is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know. Like everyone else knows. Why don't you know? Like you want to be the guy that everyone goes to for questions and stuff. Like you got to know, even if it's wrong. Throw an answer out.
Sure. Take it till you make it. I'll tell you right now. I watched your video, and forgive me if I'm blending videos, but this is the one we had the paper towel, and you were letting it go through the paper towel like a taco.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So I was watching, and I was like, man, I do the exact same thing. Like that's literally my routine. I don't use the straight front line. I have a mix, and I'm more gingerly with it. I'm more gingerly with it than you are because yours is straight concentrate. Mine's diluted. Other than that, it was basically my exact same routine. The only other difference was I found myself where I'll squirt the diluted stuff on my palms, and I'll actually rub the snake.
Yeah,
right.
Usually I have gloves, but I didn't have any, so I was like, a folded paper towel actually probably works better because you can get them to go through it.
They go through on their own,
yeah.
And at the same time, you're going to squeeze the taco a little bit, give them just enough resistance where they're going to kind of fight back, which is also going to help get any kind of dermatological nonsense off, right? Okay. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. That needed to be said, by the way. Thank you. But I do the same exact routine. And now I sat back and I was like, man, no one ever showed me that. I had to learn that on my own. And now you have a guy like Mr. Justin Smith here, who's a fantastic educator and a humble fella, and he's showing you. So I wish I had that video 20 years ago. I do. Because I didn't know. I learned this shit the hard way.
So have you always done a concentrate of that though, or the diluted? Because I've always just used the straight spray.
I've always done diluted because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of fumes. I
mean, it is pretty pungent. It's an odd liquid. Like it's alcohol based because you can smell it.
Right.
But it's also oily. Like it leaves a residue. Yeah. It's really strange. Like it evaporates quick, but it also leaves behind. It's odd.
And my whole thing was, and I was paranoid, and I still am paranoid about the straight concentrate. You're doing it differently too. You're doing it in the open tub. While you're working with the animal, it's having time to air out, so on and so forth.
I'll also take it and shake it out for a few seconds. Right. Really let it
air out. Right. So my whole thing is, if I can smell it that pungent, first of all, I don't do that. That's the other thing too, is I don't I literally spray, do the snake.
Right, and a lot of people don't spray the paper towel, but like I said, I don't soak the paper towel. It's just literally like one spray as I'm going down, one spray as I'm going down, air it out, set it in there, and that's just an extra precautionary thing, you know.
Right. So I've always done it that way, but I look at it this way: is now you have an animal that's only using one of its two lungs, and even though it's breathing on a less ratio per mammals like us, if I can smell it, oh, they're smelling it. Between Jacobson's and everything else, that it's there. It's funny you bring up the desert stuff or arid stuff, because like, for example, when I had Cerastes, which are the desert horn viper, they're not going to have mites, because first of all, most of those mites are Asiatic for the most part, and mites like it tropical. These are obviously,
they like it moist, they like it dark, and those are not it.
Right. But there is still some other parasites that have come in that are arid type parasites. I've had red mites on snakes before, and I don't know if they're an actual parasitic mite or if they were just bugs living in the bag that it came from, or maybe they were lizard mites that
right. Who knows?
So what I've done is I'm very, very self-conscious with Cerastes, that genus, and humidity levels, because if the air is too humid, they'll die.
They're not meant for
that. But I also like to give them a soak first from shipment. So assuming that they're wild caught, obviously I'm not going to deworm them anytime soon. I'm going to give them time to adjust. But what I'll do is I'll get a basin pan and I'll put about a half an inch of water. And if the animal can float, it's too much water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the viper in there, let them have their drink if they want to, leave them be. While I'm doing that, I'm prepping the tub or the container or whatever with the sand that I'm going to use. But I'm going to use now I can't remember what it is. It's calcium sand from Blue Iguana, I think it is. Is that it? Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Blue Iguana. It's calcium sand from Blue Iguana. And this is not the sand that I keep the snake on. But I like it because the calcium sand is very, very largely granulated, almost like kitty litter. And to be honest, you probably could use unscented kitty litter for what I'm about to say. So I'll let them float in water. I'll let them get their drink. I'll take them out. I'll leave them be in a dry tub. Let them digest that water, because I have to use a hook. I'm not picking up with my hands.
Yeah.
I pick them up with the hook, and they go and spit up all that water they gorge themselves on. Then I'll put them in the dry basin, let them kind of drip dry for a minute. Then I'll throw them in that calcium sand, let them burrow, let them dig, let them do whatever, because now the sand's going to dry them off. Any kind of stuff that was on them is now either floating in the basin or it's going to get stuck in the sand. And after about a day or so, I remove them and put them into the actual I use Exopara sand because it's soft.
Yeah.
In the actual Exopara sand. And now they're in quarantine in sand, done. Oh, and if I want to use the frontline spray, I'll frontline them before they go in the sand. That's just my point.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said in the video, I don't, whether I see mites or not, treat.
Yeah.
They have such. That's another thing I want to do a video on, like mites specifically, because I don't think people realize just exactly how complex like their life cycle is. Like they go through, I want to say like 5 different stages before they go into like their adult form.
Right.
2 of those are actually parasitic.
Okay.
The other 3, they're not. Like it's very. And then they're like these larvae, and then they're parasitic, and then they're not, and then they are again. It's very odd. Like there's a really good paper that
you sent me.
I sent it to you. Did you check it out? Like it had a lot of really good information in it. Like I learned a lot from reading it. I got better about where I was treating, like in a tank itself. Like if you have a water bowl and there's like darkness underneath it, like they can get under it. They love dark spaces. So like if you're keeping it in an aquarium where that black lip is on the top, up in those corners, they love the dark. They love it moist, so get rid of all those possibilities. You won't have any issues, but
I'm that Brettles that I got that's got him right now. I'm going to do him again tomorrow. It's been a couple days. And I decided when I do it this last time, he has grapevine in there. I'm just gonna throw the grapevine away because
that's probably wise.
I've soaked that grapevine in Frontline, and I'm convinced that they've embedded themselves in the wood. And it's like you told me, I forgot about this. In my room, I put 7 dust in between vision cages, in between the rack drawers. I put 7 dust everywhere. I put it on the floor. But my quarantine rack, where the carpets are, downstairs, I don't, because it's my downstairs living room. It's carpeting. But what I'm going to do is, I tomorrow when I do the Brettles, I'm going to spray Frontline on the racks, in between the racks, like you had mentioned, because I didn't think of it.
I haven't tried Prevenamite.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. I haven't tried Prevenamite. So originally I was using an ivermectin solution, which works really well. But the issue with ivermectin is if it's on a smaller snake, first of all, it's straight up fatal to chelonians. If ivermectin crosses the blood-brain barrier into turtles and tortoises, it kills them. It paralyzes them. They die. I had with one of my bears, one of the adults that I have in there, like not the one I just showed you, it might have been the other one. But when I first got them, I treated with an ivermectin solution. And this is when they were like hatchlings, like tiny. And that snake was paralyzed literally from like the neck down for at least, it was probably about 48 hours. And I was sure that I'd killed that snake, like that it was screwed. Fortunately, if I kind of, I let it ride it out and it passed and the snake was fine, but like ivermectin works really well, but it's really easy to overdo it and kill something with it. It works great. But I've actually found the Frontline to work better. Like I have to do fewer treatments with the Frontline because the Frontline, because of, like I was saying, it's like oily when it's left on a surface. It's continuing to do its job. It's not like ivermectin where it'll just kind of dissipate and then you got to treat again in 3 days. Like I found Frontline. There's been a few cases with that where I've had snakes that had mites. I treated with the Frontline once, the cage and the snake, never had them show up again. Does that mean that you shouldn't do more treatments? Even if you stop seeing mites? No, like you should still continue to treat. But I've found that the Frontline is much safer and much more effective. Ivermectin is just too sketchy. Like I said, it works great, but it will straight up kill.
That is
stuff.
Potent shit.
Yes.
I walked right.
I'm talking like I fucked up that Baird's with a solution of like 1 milliliter to 1 liter.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, did I tell you about my Nick solution? We talked about that before, right?
I know people use it, but I don't think we've talked about it.
So, all right, let me relight this real quick.
Yeah, like I said, Frontline kind of sticks around. It like I said, it creates like a coating almost on whatever surface it's on, and it seems to work really well. Like I said, if I treat I do the paper towel, and I think if there are eggs that are laid or there are any mites that survive, if they end up crawling around on that paper towel, they're done.
So one of my old mentors showed me the Nix solution, the Nix Lice spray.
Yeah.
Or the Nix Lice shampoo for children. Basically, you go to the grocery store and it comes in a little tiny bottle about yay big. And I don't know how many ounces, 4 or 5 ounces, whatever it may be. And it actually comes with a little blue lice comb for your children. And you basically use it as shampoo.
Yep.
When you read the box, it's straight up poison. Like, hands, ifs, or buts, it's fucking poison.
It's like freaking battery acid, dude.
Right. But if you take it and you pour what I do is I get a 1 gallon jug of water, like a milk jug or a gallon jug of water, and I pour out about that much water from the top because I don't want to do the displacement, and I pour the entire bottle of shampoo into 1 gallon of water. I put the cap on and I shake it for probably realistically 10 to 15 minutes till it literally has no froth. It's just a light pink or light orange hue to the water. I then take that and I pour that into a squirt bottle and that's what I use. And that works like $1,000,000 until I recommended it to my dearest friends who used it on a baby hognose rack.
Ooh.
And I didn't know this, but their baby hognose rack had no air holes.
They'll die.
All of them. All of them.
Yeah, you were inside, but I was saying I used the ivermectin solution on one of my baby bears, one of those adults. I don't think it was the same one I showed, but it was one of the two. I can't remember which one. I used an ivermectin solution, and straight up the snake was paralyzed for like 48 hours from the neck down.
Oh, Jesus. It made it feel right?
Yeah. Like I was sure that I'd killed that snake. Like I was like, dude, this thing is so toast.
Yeah.
I was like, I talked to Doug because at the time I was living with my roommate who's a vet. I was like, what should I do? Should I just like wait? And he's like, I guess. He's like, I don't really like in Chelonians. I was saying ivermectin, like any vet will tell you, do not use ivermectin on Chelonians because it will kill them. Like it crosses the blood. If it crosses the blood-brain barrier, they straight up, it paralyzes them and they die.
Yeah.
So like with the snake, and that's why I stopped using ivermectin with anything small. Like if it wasn't a yearling, at least, I wasn't using ivermectin on it. And I was like, I guess, should I just wait? And he's like, yeah, see what happens and make sure it stays hydrated.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure enough, after like 2 days, it came back to normal. But I was like, I just freaking killed this thing, man. Like ivermectin's it works really well, but man, that shit's nasty.
Yeah. Cox is saying that he read an article on the Knicks and how bad it is with having neurological. There you go.
It's freaking napalm, man.
I believe it, but I'll tell you right now, if it takes 2 or 3 cycles of frontline to remove a mite infestation, and I mean an infestation, Knicks does it once, done, gone.
Well, that's what I was saying too. Is like the frontline for me. I've had a few cases where I only had to treat once or twice, and I had no problems after that. Like everything was going.
Yeah.
I had no
Usually it's 2 times, and the third precautionary, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is gonna be the third. This is gonna be the 4th time with that Brettles, and I think it's because of that stick that's in it.
Yeah.
So, he's healthy. He looks fine. He's happy.
The ivermectin, I would do a treatment every 3 days for like a month. And it worked, but the front line, I trusted a lot more. Like even in its full strength out of the bottle, I've yet to have any issues with it.
Right. I actually had to take my dog off of Frontline and Advantix because it didn't work for the dog.
Also, another pain in the ass with ivermectin is you have to keep it somewhere dark.
Really?
Because light ruins it. So you make it. Huh?
Does it come in a brown bottle like Baytril?
It comes in like a frosted bottle. It doesn't go bad quickly, but if you leave it exposed to light, it loses, like it's basically useless. So like when you make a solution, it sucks because you have to keep it somewhere dark. And then if you have it in a spray bottle, you don't want to leave that out too long because then you're going to ruin it. And
Yeah. Oh man, and Cox is going on about the pest strips. I never liked them, man. They freaked me out. I mean, I thought it was genius that you just put this little Lego piece of yellow, or you cut it in pieces and put it in the cage, and all of a sudden there's no bugs. But it's got to be a reason why there's no bugs.
Yeah, if it's in the air, then your snake's breathing. I don't know. I've never used no pest strips. I never used Prevenamite. I've used ivermectin and Frontline, and Frontline is pretty much my go-to.
Ooh, getting spicy. You had the last nubbin? My man. Actually, this might be too bitter now.
They ramp up a lot when you get to that point.
They do, man. And it's like hot at the tip,
That's what she said.
Gets the back of the tongue.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, mites have such a weird life cycle. It's not like you can just treat once and they'll be fine because like 2 weeks later,
The eggs are out.
You'll find more, yeah, and that's why it's kind of comical. Like you see someone say, "Oh, I bought this at Repticon or whatever last week," and I didn't see anything, but then I just looked and I found like 5 mites, and it's like, yep, you hit that. Like the timer is set once you bring it home. You wait for that first week. It's like there they are.
Well, I was at a big box chain pet store getting dog food or something, and people in Paralyzed. Oh wow,
Jesus,
that's crazy. I was at a big box pet store, and a girl was in there complaining that her ball python she got from the big box pet store had these little black bugs all over it. So I sat back and I listened a little bit, and the young person that was helping this girl basically was saying, yeah, they're a type of mite, they're a parasite, and they're pretty harmless as long as you get rid of them quick. And she's like, listen, we sell Frontline, and basically was telling her to do kind of what you were saying in your video. And everything was cool, but the girl was freaking out because she's like, I got these from your store, blah, 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 blah. And I came over and I said, excuse me, you guys don't know me, but I keep a lot of reptiles. And I just want to let you know, you didn't get these mites necessarily from this store. It happens.
Yeah.
I said, do you go to other pet stores? She goes, yeah, I go to like a couple others. Why? Do you go to reptile stores? Yeah, I go to 2 reptile stores. Do you go to any other big box pet stores? Yeah, I go to other big box pet stores, depending on where I am and errands and stuff. I said, exactly. I said, when you walked in this place, did you touch the door? Yeah. Now you got mites. When you walked in the store, did you wipe the bottom of your shoes off? No. Well, now you got mites. I was like, it's as simple as that. And
they're a fact of the hobby. Like, there's no avoiding it. At some point or another, you're gonna get them, and you're gonna have to deal with them. Like everyone does. And I mean, I'm at a point now where I'm pretty confident. Like, if I see them, I'm like, awesome, whatever, treat it, get it over with.
You're way easier than I am. I'm using 4-letter words.
It's like, okay, here we go. But that's the thing. Like, if you catch them early enough, they're really not like they're easy to get rid of. The problem is they multiply in such crazy like exponential numbers and stuff that if they get out of hand, then it's a really big nightmare. Like when you start seeing them in other tubs and other cages. Right. That's when it's really a problem. If you find them on a snake and you only see like 3 or 4 in a tank or whatever, knock it out. Obviously separate it from everything else and play it safe. But I mean, like they're easy to kill. It's just once they get to a certain threshold, it's like, fuck. Now it's a chore. Now I got to treat everything, twice or 3 times and do the whole collection and do all the substrate changes and do all this other stuff and. It's a part of it. If you catch it early, it's a breeze. But once they get to that certain point, man, it's like shit.
I went to take out because that Nauta I have is still fresh. I went to take him out last night, and because I never see him, he just lives in the lip of the cage. I just never see him. And I wanted to check and make sure he didn't have mites, because if one's got them, other ones might have them. Mm-hmm. Dude, I could not get him out of that cage. He was giving me such a hard time. And finally, he sprung around from the underneath, and he gave me that look, like that bug-eyed look.
He's like, over your shit. Yeah.
Don't fucking touch my tail anymore. And at that point, I was like, yeah, you can just stay in there. Cool.
We'll come back. We'll try again.
Yeah, we'll do that in daylight. It'll be better in daylight. Oh, man.
I haven't used predatory mites.
I was waiting for Henry to say it. I really was.
I like the idea of them, but it sounds like much more work and much more of a pain than just getting frontline spray and just getting it over with.
I feel like it's like a cane toad situation. Like I'm introducing a species to eat a species that's not supposed to be there. And with my luck, they'll get loose and eat all the other mites in the neighborhood in Florida. And
that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, yeah, because what if it displaces the ecosystem and it's my fault?
I highly doubt predatory mice will do that.
I don't know. That's why I only get the Florida. The only isopods that I've ever used are the ones that are native or invasive to Florida. Because I am terrified that when I throw my substrate out after so many months or years, I'm releasing them in the wild. I'm literally making invasive species, so I don't do it. I stopped.
You know what's really annoying?
What's that?
If you've ever dealt with fruit fly cultures, if you have flightless fruit flies and somehow flighted ones get in your culture, they start interbreeding, and then you have half a culture of flying fruit flies and half a culture of flightless fruit flies.
Yep.
And it's like, oh my god, now I have to pretty much trash that whole culture because the frogs are never going to get the ones with wings.
Exactly, and that's why I don't do dart frogs.
I've only had it happen like once or twice, but I'm like, how the fuck did these ones with wings get in here?
Bro, that chunky citronella that I sent you today, they sent the group chat today,
Mm-hmm.
dude, that thing, I was like, maybe I should go buy some. Nope. Not going to do it. Forcing myself not to.
You want to.
Mm.
I will give you some Vitatis. For the love of God, I have so many right now. Please. Nope. Please.
Nope.
I already told Cody. I was like, when you want some, let me know.
Yeah. I thought about once these carpets are, I mean, I had them they're done with their quarantine. They're done. But the one still has mites. So before I bring them up into the main collection, I want to make sure there's no mites for like a good month, which is probably driving my roommate crazy because he's just stare at those doofy little snakes all day. But once that rack is gone, then oh God, Reed, no. Dragon snake, please. Can't afford that shit.
Can't afford to keep it alive.
That's kind of what I meant, yeah. I do want these vipers though, which I hear are very simple.
Oh man, that would be sweet.
My friend Zach had Fees vipers for a while.
Oh, we need an article on those.
You want an article on those?
Yes.
Can I call dibs on that, please?
Yes.
All right, I'll call dibs on Fees vipers.
Dude, those are considered any lapid, right?
They are. No, they're a viper.
Are they?
Yeah, they're viper. They're their own.
But they have the 9-plate head arrangement, right?
No, they're viper.
Right, but they have that's kind of the weird thing about them is they're viper, but they have the 9-plate head scales.
I never looked. Yeah, no, I never looked that far into it. Now I'm gonna thanks. But he kept them alive for a long time, man. Got him eating rodents and everything, and he had he actually owned a small pet shop in Jupiter, Florida, and he had a big stack of 2-foot visions, like 6 or 7 high, and the bottom 2 were the Fees vipers, and he had a little blower fan, so he put a blower fan at the bottom on the cages, and the cages in the room itself was like 78 because it's a pet shop, it's hot, but those cages, he kept them so chill at the bottom, no lights, no nothing, heavy foliage, dude. It was the coolest thing. He would literally open the cage of the vision because it was on the bottom. He would put a dead mouse just outside the door. The Fees viper would slither out, look at him, look at me, look at whoever else was in the room, grab the mouse, and just inchworm its way back into the dark jungle. Yeah.
Dude, they're so cool, man. I always forget they exist.
Yeah.
Dude, they have a 9-plate. They have a 9-plate scalation on the head, like any lapid. It's really bizarre.
All right, so you Googled it just now. Okay.
I'm looking at pictures.
No, Cox, I'm not feeding them dart frogs.
Did I tell you that when I had those baby Alterna, I literally tried to get them to eat baby froglets?
Oh God!
I can't get these things to eat. I have like a million Vitatis frogs.
Yeah, you put a little. I remember you showed me a picture of a bowl of tadpoles, didn't you?
That was for the rhino snake.
Oh yeah, the Voldemort snake. Yeah.
That one still stings a little bit.
No, we're not going to talk about it. Not going to talk about it.
Still hurts.
Fucking dragon snakes. I was pissed. I got some Cape file snakes about a year back.
Oh, how were those?
So I had them before, but I never had them long enough to really, really enjoy them. I got rid of them after 3-4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I always fed them pinkies with fuzz. I put pinkies with fuzz with them. I just feed them alive. I put 3 or 4 in there for an adult that would slurp them down. A couple days later, I'd do some more. So I tried to do the same thing. I got a pair. The male would not eat. He died. The female dropped 10 eggs out of nowhere. Didn't even know she was gravid. I collected the eggs. I set them up. I put them in the incubator. I wound up saying, I don't want to deal with this. And I wound up giving the girl to Underground. I don't know what they did with her. And then all the eggs went bad. I think they were infertile. Yeah. Awkward silence.
I have people wanting a ConjureCast episode.
We all want a ConjureCast episode, Bubba. All of us.
I'm trying to find. There's this other really cool looking African colubrid that they. Every time I see him, I think of the fees. And Matt Most is the one who's trying to breed them. How fucking wicked is that, dude?
What is that?
Let me see. I'm trying to figure.
What is that?
It's bizarre. It's just like I said. I think they're African, if I'm not mistaken. He's like the only guy that I know that has them. Of course, he has all kinds of other cool oddball stuff, but
is he in the States?
Yeah. Speaking of file snakes, he's breeding those too. Dude, there's like that dude can breed some of the coolest stuff. It's red and black striped snake is the common name. B. lineatus is the scientific name, but I don't know what the genus is. Let me see if I can find it. Oh. Bothophthalmus lineatus.
Never heard of Billy Bear. Accept that share real quick. Yeah. Cold weather viper. Love it. Love it.
What are these? Sub-Saharan African. Yeah, so those are African. Really bizarre looking things, man.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, like I said, dude, he's got so much cool stuff that no one's got and doing with, and he can like apparently he's like the oddball colubrid guy. Like he can get anything to breed. It's freaking wild.
You know what I want that my late mentor had was African mole snakes. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Dude, like African Crebos without the attitude.
That's an accurate description.
I really want them. There was recently a movie on Netflix about the Irish UN peacekeeping mission in the Katanga province of the Congo in the 60s called Siege of Jackson. And there's one scene in the beginning where they're digging trenches in the South Congo, and these like mole snakes come out because it's the early morning. They get sun. The guy's like, "Oh my God, there's snakes!" He's like, "Didn't you read the pamphlet? They're harmless." Like he picks them up, throws them. I'm like, oh, "They're gigantic. I want those things so bad." Oh, Mollendorffi. Don't even start with me on the 100 flowers, bro. Don't even start with me with Mollendorffi. I had a like 5-foot female that died out of the blue, and I honestly think it was because I kept her too high. Dude, Mollendorffi is the jam. Lord of all rat snakes. Everyone thinks the Carinata is the king rat. No. Mollendorffi, king of rat snakes. Emperor of rat snakes.
I thought nothing. Never mind.
But what?
So I thought indigos with a.
They're not rat snakes.
I know. That's why I said never mind.
You know what we got to do? Now we got to look up Mollendorffi's 100 flower snake.
Stupidest name for a snake ever, too.
No, it's not. It's a great name.
Why? It's like 100 pace viper.
That is an awesome name as well. And that's Dinochistrodonocudus.
I know.
Which is the most fun snake name to say. It annoys me that when I type in hunter flower snake, mandarin rats and Thai beauties pop up. That's stupid. Man, these are all like crappy captive wildlife pictures. There's no like in situ awesomeness.
That's why Matt Most, if you go to his page, he's
Yeah, I probably should do that.
Sarpa Mitra.
Keeping our people waiting. This is a good picture. Throw this one up on the board. Oh, friggin' Pinterest. I hate Pinterest, dude. Hate it.
Gotta have an account.
What's that?
Just gotta have an account.
Yeah, right. So now it won't let me load this, but whatever. We're going to show this off right quick with the rat quickness. Check that pupper out. So
it's just a blood red corn snake.
No, dude, no. First of all, they get gigantic. Second of all, they have the head of a retic. Okay, they have that crazy fire red tail, and then they have these amazing grayish, bluish, purple undertones of corn snake body type. Man, they're amazing. They're amazing.
They're okay.
All right, you guys suck. So I kept mine. I kept mine, I think, perfect for what you're supposed to do, but I fucked up and I let it get too hot. It realistically, I'm pretty sure should be like high 60s, low 70s, high 60s max. And I kept it just like a simple rat snake, man. Cypress mulch, some leaf litter, a fake cave, and a big water dish big enough for them to sit in. And I did UVB with no heat lamp. And I had an under tank heater underneath the cave, just in case it really wanted to get warm. It could burrow itself down under the mulch and get the warmth of that. But I didn't have a definitive basking site. Now that could be totally wrong information. Obviously, talk to Matt and find out. But that's how I kept them alive for a really long time. And then I was stupid and put it in a different room. And yeah, Reed will remember that our friend, my late mentor Frank, he had a massive library, massive library, and he kept Mollendorffi in the library because it maintained like a perfect 68 degrees, and that's the only snake he kept in there.
That's why I really want bamboo rats, man. Like if I'm gonna do any of the Asian stuff, like bamboo rats I want, like especially the cockeye. Those things are, I freaking love those things, man.
Screamers. And hey, Brennan's right. You got to see one in person. Have you seen a Mollendorffi in person?
Probably, yeah. If I do, I don't remember.
Oh man,
I'm sure I've seen one at a show or something.
That's a rat snake for cocks because it literally has a reticed head, only proportionate to its body, and no heat bits. And yes, Reed, that was the coolest room. Frank had a library that was probably
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, only in a normal house.
Had the ladder and everything.
Reed, he had a ladder.
Wheels.
Right? He had a ladder on wheels, right? I could have sworn he did. It was the tallest room in the house.
That's crazy.
It was the tallest room in the house, and I guess it was meant to be like a dining room, but he was like, that's stupid. I have a kitchen table. I never have anyone over. I'm going to make this into a fossil/library. Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the bamboo rats, and then there's like something else, but right, I want my rhino rat back, man. I don't think they are. I think they're being bred in such numbers now, Cox, that I don't believe they're imported anymore.
Wait, why can't you keep one, Cox?
He said he just can't keep one.
Oh! I thought he meant he can't keep that species.
Oh, I don't know. It's not how I read it.
I figure with that name, Coxeye Cox, he'd have to,
Cox with a cock's eye.
Have you seen the Coxeye the Cox brought?
The cock's eye that Cox was looking over because he wanted a cock's eye? Because Cox can't keep a cock's eye. That's why not?
Yeah, I don't understand why not.
I'll get rhino rats eventually when I produce
Then I'd be a
more
cock.
condors and sell them. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. You know he's laughing at his own joke right now. You know he is.
Oh yeah, he's cracking up. Like a pack of schoolgirls. He's giggling.
Like a pack of schoolgirls. We were at the my friends and I were at the bar, and we were sitting there, and all of a sudden you heard the like a zebra, and it was a woman at the bar making that zebra, you know. Killed us, bro. Killed us.
Brennan, I had a rhino for about a week, and then it got out, and I never saw it again.
Boo.
And the worst part, I feel even worse about it because it was a gift.
Yeah.
If I had bought it and lost it, I'd be like, I'm an idiot. But because it was given to me, I felt even worse because I felt like I was bestowed this awesome little male rhino, and then it got out, and it hurts. That's the one that got away, literally and
Yep.
philosophically.
So metaphorically and
Metaphorically, yes.
Yeah. Since we're talking rhinos, it just doesn't get any better than that. Oh yeah.
It's not a rhino rat. It's not the same.
It's not the same. But look at the blues, man. Look at the blues in that fuck. I love that little girl, man, and it sucks because I took pictures of her was it yesterday that I posted them on the story?
Yeah.
She just shed, and I'm like, man, where'd all the blue go? She looks so drab. I have her on Jungle Mix, and I think it's so dry now because I need to mist her down. I think it's so dry.
Jungle skin back.
She's got the dust, man. She's got that fur bark dust all over her.
Oh yeah.
And I hose that bitch off.
Yeah, Brennan lost a hypo Brazilian rainbow around the same time that I lost my rhino. I don't know. Did you end up finding it or no?
And you've got a bunch of hypo rainbows too, right?
Me?
No. Brendan.
Oh, I was like, I haven't had a rainbow boa in like 6 years.
I showed you my calico one.
I think so.
It's dead. It died.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a really tragic story. I literally.
Oh man, he said he found it 2 days later and it was dead.
Oh, that sucks.
That does suck.
That's shit. God. I don't have pictures of the calico, but yeah, I literally had it and it was doing great. It was like maybe 8 or 9 years old, and I got it from my friend, and I went to pair it up with my one really, really good-looking normal male, and I put them together. Nothing happened. They didn't really care about each other. I separated them, and then 2 days later, it died.
Died of a broken heart.
I guess. Bitch got denied. Yeah, they do. They crash real hard, real quick. Yeah, and I'm assuming it was baby, right? Is that what you said?
It was a young one, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, it's a shame.
I mean, I'm assuming if it was an adult, you'd probably find it fairly quickly. But
yeah, have you guys ever seen the Peruvian ones that are like blood red?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, somebody sent me an article recently of.
No, I'm thinking of Colombians.
Colombians?
No, I don't think I have. I've seen like really high red Brazilians.
Yeah, this was a Brazilian rainbow boa species found in obviously bordering areas in Peru, and dudes killed it because they thought it was a bushmaster.
Of course.
Yeah, sad panda. Oh, 6 months old. That sucks. That's just enough time to get, attached.
Yep. Oh.
Well, you ready to call it?
I think, yeah, it's 11:30.
Yeah, we've hit multiple topics this evening.
Justy tie.
Yeah, I can see.
We shall talk to everyone later.
Probably tomorrow or in 20
I
minutes.
mean, I'll definitely talk to you, but
Yeah, you're gonna talk to me in 20 minutes.
everyone else,
Meh, meh.
take it sleazy.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
What you have to say your closing?
My closing. My name is Phil, and I
No,
am,
not even that.
what?
Good night, Moon.
Oh, good night, Moon.
I don't know why that makes me laugh so much.
Brunch and a bowl full of munch. That's my favorite line in the whole book. Good night, Moon. Moon, walk tonight? I don't even know.
Reed, I'm going to message you about those variabilis too. I need to figure that out.
But yes, thank you to everyone who's still watching and who has been watching, and whoever watches us in the future, thank you for watching as well. This is episode 11, right?
This is 11.
11. All right. Thank you and good night.
Later.